Have you ever felt like something inside you is screaming to come out, but you don't know what it is? Imagine this. You're standing in front of a mirror, but what you see doesn't fully reflect you. There's a hidden part, a shadow that follows you everywhere. And even if you try to ignore it, it's still there, whispering truths you don't want to hear. Carl Jung, one of the great explorers of the human soul, discovered that this shadow isn't your enemy, but the key to inner peace. Today, we're diving into his world, a journey that will not only change how you see yourself, but how you live your relationships, your dreams, and your daily life. Because if you face your shadow, you'll find something the modern world has made you forget, your true self. Jung, a psychologist, was a cartographer of the unconscious, that deep ocean inside us where our fears, desires, and repressed truths swim. He believed we all carry a shadow, a term he used to describe the parts of ourselves we hide, the flaws we deny, the emotions we suppress, the impulses we judge. But here's the twist. That shadow isn't a mistake or something you should destroy. It's an essential part of you, and if you face it, it will lead you to a more authentic and fulfilling life. Are you ready to take that step? Stay with me because this is more than a video. It's an invitation to transform your reality. Think about your life for a second. Have you ever felt trapped in relationships that seem to drain you? Maybe a friendship that always ends in misunderstandings, or a partner who, even though they love you, makes you doubt yourself. Or perhaps you're chasing a job, a goal, something you should want, but deep down, it doesn't fulfill you. Jung would say these aren't coincidences. They're signals from your unconscious, that part of your mind that holds everything you don't see at first glance. He said the unconscious doesn't speak in words but in symbols, intuitions, and those feelings you can't explain but feel in your chest. Sound familiar? For example, imagine Laura, a 32-year-old woman from Bogota. She had a perfect relationship with her boyfriend. Movie dates, social media posts, everything seemed ideal. But every time they were together, something inside her said it wasn't right. It wasn't jealousy or fights. It was a silent discomfort. Or think of Miguel, a 40-year-old man from Guadalajara, working in a prestigious office. He earned well, everyone congratulated him, but every morning he woke up with an emptiness he couldn't understand. Both ignored these signals for years until they realized something. They were disconnected from themselves. Jung would explain it like this. The unconscious was sending them a message through that intuition, asking them to look deeper. So what is this shadow Jung talks about so much? Simply put, it's everything you reject about yourself. If you're ashamed to admit you sometimes feel envy, that's part of your shadow. If it's hard to accept you're afraid of failure, that's there too. The shadow isn't bad. It's human. But when you ignore it, it becomes an invisible force that controls your decisions. Have you ever snapped at someone without knowing why? Or sabotaged yourself just when you were about to achieve something big? That's your shadow saying, I'm here. Look at me. Let's pause for a moment. Reflect. Is there something in your life that bothers you but you avoid facing? Maybe a pending conversation with someone or a dream you set aside because it's not realistic. Don't worry if you don't have the answer now. This journey is just beginning. The important thing is to start listening because, as Jung said, the first step to inner peace is integrating that shadow, not fighting it. Now imagine this. You're walking down a path. To your left is a bright road, full of people, safe and familiar. To your right, a dark, silent forest with creaking branches and scary shadows. Which do you choose? Most pick the safe path, the one everyone applauds. But Jung challenges us. Real growth is in the forest, in the unknown. That's where you face your fears, your doubts, and yes, your shadow. It's not easy, but it's liberating because entering that forest doesn't just show you who you are. It shows you who you can be. Let's go back to Laura. One day she decided to listen to that discomfort she felt with her boyfriend. She started asking herself, why do I feel this way? What am I hiding from myself? She discovered that deep down, she was afraid of being alone, and that's why she clung to a relationship that didn't make her happy. That was her shadow, the fear of abandonment she'd never faced. And Miguel? He realized his job didn't fulfill him because He'd always wanted to be a musician, but suppressed it for fear of judgment. His shadow was the creativity he'd buried. Here's a practical tool, something you can do today, inspired by Jung. Take a notebook and write, "What feels out of place in my life?" Don't overthink, just let the words flow. It could be a relationship, a habit, an emotion you avoid. Then ask yourself, what part of me am I ignoring here? This is what Jung called making the unconscious conscious. You don't need to solve everything at once, but starting to look is the first step. Before moving to the next part, I want you to do something for me and this community. If this is already resonating with you, give the video a like and write in the comments, what signal from my unconscious am I ignoring? It not only helps me get this message to more people, but also inspires others to reflect. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share it. We're on this journey together. Now think about this. If the shadow is so powerful, what happens when you don't face it? It shows up in your relationships, in how you treat yourself, and even in how you see the world. Jung said that what you don't recognize in yourself, you project onto others. Have you ever wondered why certain people drive you crazy? Or why you keep getting stuck in the same patterns over and over? That's what we'll explore next, so don't go anywhere. This gets even more interesting. If you've ever wondered why certain people or situations make you lose your calm, or why it feels like you keep tripping over the same stone, you're about to understand why. Before we move forward, let me mention that my book is now available. It's full of tips and techniques to help you overcome emotional blocks and love yourself more. Find the link in the description in the pinned comment. Let's continue. Carl Jung had an answer for this. Projection. He said that what you see in the outside world is a mirror of what's inside you, especially your shadow, that part of you you don't want to recognize. So when someone irritates you or a relationship drains you, it's not just bad luck. It's your unconscious asking you to look deeper. And here's the good news. By understanding this, you can transform your relationships and reclaim your inner peace. Projection, in simple terms, is when you attribute to others what you don't accept in yourself. For example, if it bothers you that your friend is always bragging, Jung would say maybe there's a part of you that also wants to shine, but you've suppressed it. Or if your partner drives you crazy for being too controlling, it could be that you have a controlling side you don't admit to. This doesn't mean everything is your fault. It means your unconscious uses others as a mirror to show you what you need to integrate. Has this ever happened to you? Let's use a concrete example. I know Sophia, a 28-year-old teacher from Los Angeles. She always complained about her coworker Anna, saying she was selfish and only thought about herself. But one day Sophia stopped to think, why does this bother me so much? Upon reflecting, she realized she avoided asking for help or putting her needs first because she didn't want to seem selfish. Her shadow was that need for attention she denied, and she saw it reflected in Anna. Or think of Luis, a family man from Medellin, who always argued with his brother because he saw him as irresponsible. It turned out Luis carried too many responsibilities out of fear of failing, and his shadow was that desire to let go a little, something he saw in his brother. Let's pause here. I want you to ask yourself, is there someone in your life who gets under your skin? Maybe a colleague, a family member, someone close. Now think, what bothers me so much about them? And then take it a step further. Could it be something I also carry inside but don't want to see? You don't have to figure it out now, but jotting it down in that notebook I mentioned earlier can open your eyes. This is Jung's work in action, looking inward to heal what's outside. Jung also talked about relationships as a testing ground for our growth. Those connections that seem destined to clash, full of misunderstandings or tension, aren't punishments from the universe. They're invitations to face your shadow. Because when you don't, your energy gets drained. Have you ever felt like someone squeezed all the energy out of you after talking to them? It's not just tiredness, it's your unconscious saying, there's something here you're not seeing. And protecting your energy, according to Jung, is key to living in harmony with yourself. Imagine Carla, a 35-year-old mother from Mexico City. She was always available for her family, helping her sisters, listening to her husband, going all out for her kids. But every night she was exhausted, with a knot in her stomach. One day she realized she never said no because she feared being seen as a bad person. Her shadow was that fear of rejection, and by not facing it, she let others drain her energy. Or think of Daniel, a 29-year-old designer from Miami, who stayed in a friend group that constantly criticized him. He stuck around out of fear of being alone, but every hangout left him empty. His shadow was that loneliness he didn't want to accept. Here's another practical tool. Make a quick list. Write down 3 people or situations that drain you. Next to each, note, what am I allowing here that goes against me? Maybe you're saying yes when you want to say no, or holding on to something out of fear. Jung would say your energy is sacred, and protecting it is an act of self-love. So try this. The next time you feel that exhaustion, say quietly, my peace matters. It's small but powerful. Before we go on, let me remind you of something. If this message is touching your heart, give it a like and share in the comments. Who or what is draining my energy? It not only helps me get this video to more people, but also connects you with others on the same path. And if you have someone in mind who needs this, send it to them. Together, we're building a community of transformation. Now let's talk about letting go. Jung believed not all relationships are meant to stay in your life. Sometimes those connections full of obstacles are signals from your unconscious saying, this isn't aligned with you. It's not about giving up easily, but recognizing when you're forcing something that doesn't flow. For example, Carla, the mother from Mexico, decided to set boundaries with her family. It was uncomfortable at first, but then she felt immense relief. And Daniel, the designer, left that friend group and found people who valued him. When you let go, you make space for what truly belongs to you. But letting go isn't just about relationships with others. It's also about the ideas you have about yourself. Jung talked about masks, or what he called the persona. That version of you show the world to fit in. Have you ever felt like you had to change to be accepted? Maybe at work, you hold back your opinions to avoid trouble, or with friends, you hide your tastes because they're not cool. That mask is heavy, and the longer you wear it, the more you disconnect from your authenticity. Think of Maria, a 45-year-old lawyer from Cali. She was always the strong one in her family. Never cried, always solved everything. But one day she collapsed from stress. Her shadow was that vulnerability she'd hidden behind the mask of strength. Or imagine Javier, a 27-year-old student from Houston who pretended to be extroverted because he thought being shy was a flaw. His shadow was his quiet nature he suppressed to fit in. Jung would say these masks pull us away from our essence, and reclaiming peace starts when you let them fall. Let's pause again to reflect. Ask yourself, what mask am I wearing? Where in my life am I not being myself? If you want, share it in the comments. Your words might inspire someone else. And if this video is already giving you clarity, subscribe and hit the bell. We'll keep exploring how these masks and shadows affect your dreams and purpose. So don't go anywhere. What's coming is even more transformative. If you've ever felt like your dreams are fading, or your purpose gets lost in the noise of life, this is for you. Carl Jung believed that when you disconnect from your authenticity, you don't just lose inner peace. You lose that spark that makes you feel alive. Those masks you wear, those shadows you ignore, don't just affect your relationships. They dim your passions and pull you away from what you truly want. But here's the magic. When you face your shadow and let go of what doesn't serve you, you don't just find yourself. The universe starts aligning with you in a way that feels almost magical. Jung had a term for this: synchronicity. It's when things fall into place. Suddenly you meet the right person at the perfect moment. An opportunity appears out of nowhere, or a problem resolves itself unexpectedly. It's not coincidence. It's your unconscious and the universe working together because you're living from your truth. But for that to happen, you need to reconnect with your dreams, those you may be left behind because of fear, doubt, or others' expectations. Have you ever felt a deep desire seem so far away, like it's not meant for you? Think of Alejandra, a 34-year-old designer from Monterrey. She always wanted to open her own clothing store, but her family said, "That's not stable. Stick with your job." So she locked that dream away, and over time she felt dull, like something was missing. Her shadow was that creativity she suppressed out of fear of failure. Or imagine Carlos, a 50-year-old man from Miami, who as a young man dreamed of traveling and writing, but stayed in a safe job out of responsibility. His shadow was that freedom he never allowed himself. Jung would say those dreams don't die. They stay in the unconscious, waiting for you to claim them. Here's a practical tool to reconnect. Sit for 5 minutes today and write, what did I dream of as a child that I no longer pursue? Don't judge if it's realistic, just write. Then ask, what's stopping me? Often it's a shadow, fear of what people will say, insecurity, or the idea you don't deserve more. Jung said that by making the unconscious conscious, you free that trapped potential. Try it, and if you want, share in the comments what you discovered. I'd love to read it. Let's pause and reflect. What dream have you abandoned? What part of you dimmed by chasing what you should do? You don't need to answer now, but if this message is stirring something in you, give it a like and write, what dream do I want to reclaim? Each comment not only helps me get this video to more people, but creates a space for us to inspire each other. Now let's talk about how the people around you affect those dreams. Jung believed our relationships shape our psyche. If you're surrounded by people who doubt you or push you to be someone you're not, your dreams fade. But when you're with those who truly see you, something shifts. For example, Alejandra started hanging out with friends who believed in her talent, and little by little she opened that store. Carlos found a writers group that encouraged him, and now he publishes his stories. The right people don't dim you, they light you up. But sometimes the change starts from within. Jung said dark moments, those times of chaos or crisis, are the most fertile for growth. There is no awakening without pain, he wrote. Think of a breakup that broke you or a job loss that left you lost. In that chaos, your shadow comes to light, and if you face it, you find clarity. For example, when Laura from earlier ended her relationship, she cried for weeks. But then she realized that pain showed her how much she'd abandoned herself. Today, she lives closer to her truth. Or Miguel, the repressed musician, used a work crisis to leave his office and perform publicly for the first time. Here's another tool. The next time you're in a tough moment, don't avoid it. Take a deep breath and ask, what is this teaching me about myself? Write down what comes up. It might be uncomfortable, but Jung would say chaos is the start of order. It's like pruning a tree. You cut the dry parts so the new can grow. If you try it, share in the comments how it went. Your experiences inspire this community. Before wrapping up, I want you to do something. If this journey with Jung is giving you clarity, subscribe and hit the bell, and share this video with someone who needs a nudge to face their shadow or reclaim their dreams. Every time you do, you help this message reach further. So what happens when you integrate your shadow and live from your authenticity? Everything aligns. Your energy returns, your relationships flow, and your dreams stop being someday and become today. Jung didn't want you chasing cheap happiness. He wanted you to find fulfillment. And that starts with one simple act: listening to yourself. Not to social media, not to expectations, but to that voice inside you that knows who you are. Let's sum it up quickly. Jung taught us that the shadow isn't your enemy, it's your guide. By facing it, you stop projecting your fears onto others and start healing your relationships. Letting go of what doesn't serve you makes space for what does, and reconnecting with your dreams sparks synchronicity in your life. This isn't just theory, it's something you can live. So today I invite you to take a step. Write down that discomfort you feel, have that pending conversation, or chase that dream you let go of. Because by doing so, you not only find inner peace, you become who you were always meant to be. Reflect for a moment. What are you letting go of today? What truth are you honoring? Imagine what your life would be like if you dared to be you, without masks, without fear. That's Jung's secret. The magic isn't out there. It's inside you. And now it's your turn to discover it. To close, I want to leave you with this. The world needs more authentic people, and you can be one of them. If this video inspired you, give it a like. Share in the comments what you're taking from this message and pass it to someone who needs it. Subscribe if you haven't already, because we'll keep exploring how to transform your life. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for being part of this journey. I'll see you in the next video. Remember, the change starts with you. I'm waiting for you.